8 Clear signs you're being used, not loved. Love is supposed to make you feel cherished, not used. But what if you're being taken advantage of instead? It's easy to confuse genuine affection with manipulation, especially when you're caught up in someone else's needs. What might seem like love can, in reality, be a one-sided game of exploitation. Many of us have been there, believing we're in a relationship where both people care, only to realize we're the ones doing all the giving. Recognizing these 8 signs can help protect you from being used, so you can invest in relationships that bring out the best in you, not leave you feeling empty. Sign number 1, they only reach out when they need something. They only reach out when they need something from you. It could be as simple as needing a favor, emotional support, or assistance with a problem that only you can help solve. At first, it might not seem that bad, they might even show appreciation. But as time goes on, you realize the pattern. They don't call to check in or ask how you're doing unless there's something in it for them. This behavior starts to feel like you're just a resource, a tool they use to get by, instead of being a true partner who's equally valued. Every time you offer help or lend an ear, they take it and leave. When it's your turn to lean on them, they're nowhere to be found or too busy to listen. Over time, this builds a sense of imbalance in the relationship. The emotional impact can be profound. At first, you might tell yourself it's just how they are, or that they're going through something. But as you notice their absence when you need them, a feeling of neglect sets in. You start wondering if your worth is only measured by what you can provide for them. This can lead to confusion and hurt, especially when you realize that their attention seems to come with strings attached, given only when they need something. You might even begin to feel like you're always the one doing the giving, with no real care or investment in return. In these relationships, your emotional needs start to feel secondary, and eventually, you may even start to question your own worth. What was once a caring connection now feels like a transaction. Sign number 2, lack of emotional investment. They avoid deep conversations, showing little interest in your feelings, needs, or emotional state. When you try to open up about your thoughts, struggles, or experiences, they quickly change the subject or dismiss your concerns. Instead of offering support or empathy, they keep the conversation light or even seem uninterested. It's as if your emotions don't matter to them. Over time, this behavior becomes more obvious. You may begin to feel like you're carrying the emotional weight of the relationship alone, without any real connection or support in return. Genuine relationships are built on emotional sharing. They thrive when both partners take the time to listen, understand, and nurture each other's emotional well-being. When emotional investment is absent, it creates a sense of isolation. You find yourself yearning for more than just surface-level interactions, but it feels like you're talking to a wall. Your needs for intimacy and connection go unmet, and you start questioning whether the other person truly cares about you. Without that emotional depth, a relationship can feel hollow, no matter how much time you spend together. This lack of emotional investment leaves you feeling emotionally drained, as though you're the only one trying to make things work. You're giving your all, sharing your thoughts and feelings, but the other person remains distant, showing no signs of reciprocating. This imbalance begins to erode your sense of self-worth, as you feel as though your emotions aren't worthy of attention or care. The deeper you try to go, the further they pull away, leaving you with an empty space where you once hoped to find understanding and love. Sign number 3, they don't make an effort to meet your needs. They may ask for your help, time, or attention, but when it comes to meeting your needs or fulfilling your desires, they are nowhere to be found. Whether it's something small, like needing emotional support, or something bigger, like sharing responsibilities, they never make the same effort you do. You might spend hours helping them, supporting their goals, or offering your time, but when it's your turn to ask for something, whether it's a favor, a moment of their attention, or help with something important, they either ignore it or make excuses. This lack of reciprocity creates an overwhelming sense of imbalance in the relationship. While you're giving, they're taking, without any regard for your needs. Over time, this one-sided dynamic starts to feel exhausting. You pour your energy into a relationship that doesn't seem to give back, and eventually, the emotional drain becomes hard to ignore. You may feel unappreciated, as though everything you do is overlooked or expected, while nothing is ever returned. As this pattern continues, it may begin to chip away at your self-esteem. You might start to wonder why you're not getting the same attention, care, or effort in return. Is your presence not valued? Are your needs less important? These questions can cause you to feel neglected, and eventually, disconnected. You start to realize that the relationship is lacking in mutual care, and the imbalance between giving and receiving is too great to ignore. You begin to feel as though you're the only one invested in the connection, while they remain indifferent to your needs, leaving you questioning whether they truly care about you at all. Sign number 4, they gaslight you into questioning your feelings. They manipulate situations in a way that makes you feel like your concerns or feelings are invalid or exaggerated. If you express discomfort or frustration about something they did or said, they turn it around on you, suggesting that you're overreacting or being overly sensitive. They may deny events or details that you know to be true, making you question your memory or perception of reality. Over time, this gaslighting tactic chips away at your confidence in yourself and your own instincts. The emotional impact of gaslighting is profound. It leaves you feeling confused and mentally drained, as you begin to doubt what you know is true. You might start second-guessing yourself and questioning whether your feelings are justified. This constant manipulation makes it hard to trust your own emotions or experiences, creating a sense of uncertainty in every interaction. The more it happens, the more disoriented you become, unsure of where reality ends and their manipulation begins. At first, you might try to brush it off, telling yourself that maybe you are being too sensitive or that you misunderstood. But eventually, this ongoing gaslighting erodes your self-worth and leaves you feeling mentally exhausted. You may feel like you're walking on eggshells, afraid that your emotions will once again be invalidated or dismissed. Over time, this emotional turmoil can make you feel disconnected from yourself, as your own feelings and perceptions no longer seem trustworthy. This constant mental strain is a clear sign that something isn't right in the relationship and that you're being manipulated rather than cared for. Sign number 5, they only show affection when it benefits them. In some relationships, affection is not a genuine expression of care or love, but a tool to get what they want from you. They shower you with love, attention, and affection when they need something, whether it's emotional support, material gain, or a favor. However, once they've gotten what they wanted, the affection fades. It's as if their feelings towards you are contingent upon what they can gain, rather than being driven by a sincere desire to make you feel valued or cared for. This transactional dynamic creates an unsettling atmosphere in the relationship. You might begin to feel like you're part of a bargain, where love and affection are only given when it benefits them, and not because they genuinely care for you. You may feel used, as though their gestures of kindness and affection are nothing more than a means to an end. The warmth they show is no longer comforting but feels calculated, like they are trying to get something from you in return. As this pattern continues, it erodes your sense of trust and connection. True affection should come freely, without hidden agendas. But in relationships where affection is used as leverage, every gesture starts to feel insincere. You begin to question whether their affection is real or just another way to manipulate you into giving them what they want. The emotional bond that should naturally develop between two people starts to break down as the relationship becomes more about fulfilling needs and less about mutual love and respect. The lack of genuine affection makes you feel disconnected and unimportant, questioning if you are truly valued or simply being used. Sign number 6, they avoid taking responsibility for their actions. One of the clearest signs you're being used is when they consistently avoid taking responsibility for their actions. When you confront them about something they've done that hurt you, they quickly deflect blame or completely refuse to acknowledge their role in the situation. Instead of owning up to their mistakes, they might shift the blame onto you, making you feel like you're the one at fault. This can be especially frustrating and painful, as it invalidates your feelings and creates a constant sense of injustice. The lack of accountability erodes trust in the relationship. If someone truly cares about you, they will take responsibility for their actions and work towards making amends. However, in a relationship where you're being used, any issue that arises is often dismissed or minimized, leaving you with a feeling of helplessness. Their inability to accept responsibility makes it difficult to have a healthy, open conversation about problems, as they continuously avoid addressing their own behavior. Emotionally, this dynamic can cause you to feel like your emotions don't matter. When they refuse to acknowledge the harm they've caused, it sends the message that your feelings are unimportant or insignificant. You may start to believe that their hurtful actions are somehow justified, leaving you confused and emotionally drained. Over time, this continuous cycle of denial can make you feel like you're walking on eggshells, afraid to express your hurt or frustrations because you know it will only be met with excuses or blame shifting. This lack of accountability is not only damaging to the relationship but also to your self-esteem, as it perpetuates the idea that your needs and emotions are always secondary to theirs. Sign number 7, they take more than they give. In many relationships where you're being used, you may notice that they are constantly taking from you, whether it's your time, energy, emotional support, or even material resources, without offering anything meaningful in return. At first, you might not think much of it, thinking it's just a phase or that you're happy to help. However, over time, the imbalance becomes more apparent. They ask for favors, demand your attention, and rely on your support, yet when it's your turn to need something, they're absent or unwilling to contribute. This one-sided dynamic creates a sense of unfairness and frustration. You give and give, but receive very little in return. The emotional toll becomes heavier as you start to feel like your efforts are not valued. You might start questioning why you're the one always carrying the weight of the relationship, while they seem to take without hesitation or reciprocity. This constant imbalance fosters feelings of resentment and exhaustion, as it becomes clear that the relationship isn't based on mutual care or support. As time goes on, you may feel drained and emotionally depleted. The emotional energy you invest in the relationship leaves you feeling empty, with little left for yourself or other aspects of your life. The lack of balance creates a sense of imbalance, where your needs are continuously overlooked, and their desires are the only focus. This emotional depletion can also lead to self-doubt, as you begin to wonder if you're doing something wrong or if you're simply too giving. However, the truth is that a healthy relationship should involve both partners supporting and giving to each other. If you're constantly the one giving, it's a clear sign that you're being used, not loved. Sign number 8, they only stick around for the perks. One of the most telling signs that you're being used in a relationship is when the other person only stays as long as they're receiving benefits. Whether it's emotional support, financial help, or other advantages, they will remain by your side as long as they have something to gain. But when those perks are no longer available, when the support is withdrawn, or when you no longer serve their needs, they vanish without hesitation. Their attachment to you is based solely on what you can provide for them, not on any genuine care for you as a person. This conditional love highlights the transactional nature of the relationship. Their interest in you is not rooted in affection or emotional connection, it's based on how much they can take from the situation. When they no longer benefit from being with you, they may distance themselves, or even completely disappear, showing that their commitment to you was never genuine. Emotionally, this can leave you feeling disposable. You may start to question your value, wondering if you were ever truly loved or if you were just a means to an end. It can feel incredibly painful to realize that you were only valued for the benefits you provided. This behavior creates an overwhelming sense of insecurity, making you feel like you're not enough on your own. You may begin to doubt whether the love you thought you shared was real or if it was just a convenience for them. Ultimately, this dynamic is a harsh reminder that a healthy relationship should be built on mutual care and respect, not on selfish motives or conditional attachment. Recognizing these signs is crucial for protecting your emotional well-being and ensuring you're not being taken advantage of. Being in a relationship where you're constantly giving without receiving genuine care can drain your spirit and leave you feeling unworthy. Remember, real love is built on mutual respect, care, and support, where both partners give and receive equally. Don't let yourself settle for a relationship that leaves you feeling empty and used. Recognize these signs, trust your instincts, and choose a love that uplifts and strengthens you, rather than one that takes away your energy and self-worth.